getting hot on the campaign trail tonight with the first in the nation presidential contest fast approaching. Yeah, they're just 11 days until voting begins in Iowa. New Hampshire will follow just 8 days later, and the candidates from both sides are sharpening their attacks. KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now with more on how the race could come down to the candidates getting out their very own supporters. Dave, right?
It definitely could, and there's some new polling information out today that could have a dramatic impact on the outcome. New numbers out tonight in Iowa could signal some big news coming out of the caucuses on February 1st. And the poll numbers may not be good news for Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton.
It's going to be an exciting 10 or 11 days now until we get to the caucus. You get the first chance to decide who should be the next president of the United States.
Even as Hillary Clinton tried to fire up her supporters in Iowa, urging them to show up and vote in the caucuses, some new poll numbers from CNN indicate she's falling further behind her long-shot challenger, Senator Bernie Sanders. The poll of likely Democratic caucus goers in Iowa shows Clinton trailing Sanders by 8 points.
Well, an 8-point lead is stunning. We thought it was going to be nip and tuck. It was going to be close, and Bernie was going to do better in New Hampshire.
Political analyst Jaime Regalado, professor emeritus at Cal State LA, says this is another sign of Sanders expanding his base of support.
It looks like his supporters have not only remained loud and fiercely loyal, but he's drawn some others that might have gone to Clinton earlier, but are now less sure about her.
So on the campaign trail, Clinton is turning up the heat on Sanders, indicating that he's naive and out of touch.
I'm not interested in ideas that sound good on paper, but will never make it in the real world.
Now, Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy and other Clinton supporters are arguing that putting a self-avowed socialist at the top of the ticket would hurt down-ballot Democrats and seriously weaken the party's chance to elect the next president. But when CNN news anchor Wolf Blitzer asked Clinton whether the voters are ready to elect a socialist as president of the United States, she ducked the question.
I know a number of Democrats, people who I highly respect, are concerned and are expressing that concern to me, to journalists and others.
Sanders, who wasn't even in Iowa, rallied his supporters in New Hampshire, where the polls indicate he has an even bigger lead.
The reason we are doing well here in New Hampshire and in Iowa, while we're closing the gap nationally, is that people understand that in our great country, something is fundamentally wrong.
I want to win Iowa, folks.
There was good news in the latest Iowa polls for Republican presidential leader Donald Trump, too, who it concludes now holds a double-digit lead over his closest challenger, Senator Ted Cruz, who's running 11 points behind Trump. Trump campaigning in Nevada was having a field day ridiculing Cruz.
Guys like Ted Cruz will never make a deal because he's a strident guy. No, you cannot have that. Here's a United States senator, Republican, doesn't have support of one other Republican senator. There's something wrong there.
Cruz charges Trump has now become the new favorite of the Washington establishment.
We are seeing the Washington establishment abandoning Marco Rubio. I think they've made the determination that Marco can't win, and they're rushing to support Donald Trump.
In fact, this week, former Senator and Republican presidential candidate Bob Dole was asked about Cruz by NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Could you support Ted Cruz if he ends up with the nomination?
Well, I might oversleep that day.
Well, the Iowa caucuses will open the presidential season, as we said, on February 1st, just 10 days from now. And 8 days after Iowa, voters in New Hampshire will go to the polls to make their choices known in the first primary election of 2016. Lena?
Yeah, so, Dave, if both Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders win in Iowa, as the new polls show that they might,
right,
and they both win in New Hampshire, what does that say about the bigger picture of, nominating presidential candidates?
Well, then things get pretty interesting, because in Trump's case, it could be huge, to coin a phrase, if he wins both Iowa and New Hampshire, because then that will give him tremendous momentum. And remember, Iowa is a state that Ted Cruz put everything into. And if Cruz fails there and gets swamped in New Hampshire, as the polls there show he might, that could leave the Republicans' choice between Trump, And who else? Hard to say at this point. Now, if Bernie Sanders wins both the primaries, of course, it would give him tremendous momentum, but the task still becomes much more difficult for Sanders as the primaries start going fast and furious through the South and Midwest, especially where he's not known well and doesn't have deep support among Black and Latino voters. Nonetheless, it sure will be interesting to watch and see how it plays out. Jeff, Lena.